Welcome to the Sheryl and Margaux Show. This is a podcast of numerous topics. So thanks for joining me, and let's get on with it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sheryl and Margaux Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am here with a very good friend of mine, Margaux Kugleman, and I'm in her lovely home, and we're filming because we did a podcast YouTube before, but it was during COVID and was a Zoom call, and we just didn't like it, so we decided to get back together and party again. So Margaux is going to introduce herself. I want you guys to know that she did a lot of certifications in the wine business. So this is a part of the wine study series, but we're not going to geek out and talk about wine study per se. No. Maybe just throw a couple little helpful hints in there. And for those of you that are interested in wine study, but also, just talk about wine and have fun. And, Margaux and I are friends. We've worked together in the past, so we have a lot of funny stories. And so welcome, Margaux. Introduce yourself.
Okay, so I love wine. I love champagne. I like Cabernet. I like every single category there is. And I spent a good portion of time studying, so I had the opportunity to take a lot of tests and exams. So I'm a certified wine educator. I'm an Italian wine specialist. I'm a French wine specialist. I'm sake level 1.
Right. we're just talking about level 1s. But wait a minute. So back up a little bit. So Society of Wine Educators, certified wine educator. So say what program you're from.
All right, here we go. Okay, so we have to do this all again. So Court of Master Sommeliers, Advanced Sommelier.
Yes.
That was a humbling trek throughout life. Let's see. Wine and Spirits Education Trust. So I'm currently in the midst of finishing my diploma, as well as I completed sake level 1. And then through 2 other testing bodies, I took my French wine scholar and my Italian wine professional accreditations. So a life well spent in front of wine and flashcards, but it brought us together, so it works really well.
Honestly, the first time I rattled off our certifications, I was exhausted just saying it, because that's a lot of dedication, commitment.
Oh, but it was something that I loved doing. It gave me energy, and I think that now you talk about all these conversations that you have in life. Wine is linked to everything. So because of the wine studies, I love geography more. I love history, food, chemistry. It's something that I think the more that you get into wine, the more your appreciation for every other facet of life kind of ties in. Like you. I mean, you've taken so many wine exams and you studied on end. Don't you feel the same way?
Yeah, I came to mind because I had gone on a trip to Italy and we were driving and, the signs were in Italian, but I didn't, and I was like, oh, fog. I know what that means, right? Because I studied Italian wines and the fog that it adds to the wine characteristics and stuff like that. So it was kind of fun that way for me to just kind of tie in traveling with.
Absolutely. I guess everyone always wishes they could travel more. But yeah, it's amazing when you actually are physically in a place that you've read about in a book, or just had a really good conversation about.
Well, wine is, like we've talked about this, wine is so many different things to so many different people. But when you get the bug and you decide that you're going to study and give up your whole life, your whole social life. Now, Margaux's a very driven person. I consider myself driven as well, but I'm not even close to how driven you are, because I think last time you said that after I asked her the question, do you miss studying? And what did you say? You jumped in to get a master's degree.
That is true. I think you're in this mode of studying and reading, and it's just part of your daily routine, like exercising or going to work. And I think I just missed that quest for knowledge. So I did, which was a wonderful experience. But I think what I'm most proud of is being able to share wine with friends like this.
Yeah.
So
we just got to go into Margaux's wine, and we don't even know what we're drinking yet, but we're gonna. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. This is so much fun. Cheers, everybody. What are we drinking?
So we're just gonna have a Central Coast Syrah.
That's right, Syrah.
You know, it's funny to me. When we worked together, we drank a lot of Syrah, and it was a lot of Australian Syrah, which has this beautiful eucalyptus character, and it's enrobed in American oak. And I thought this time we would go for California offering. So Central Coast Syrah, a little more blueberry, cherry. Kind of a funny choice for warm weather, but the temperature is perfect.
Well, and I hadn't had one for a while. So, characteristics of Syrah, the one that I always thought was so fascinating was cooked meats. Right?
Oh, that savory, earthy, black pepper spice, sweaty men characteristic. Never a bad thing. But right?
That's like cat pee.
Yes. The things like, do you really say that? Do you smell that?
I got kicked out of the Ritz-Carlton once for doing a seminar and saying cat pee.
Really? Was there anything else you said, or was it just that one thing?
They just got offended when I said that the Sauvignon Blanc was cat pee, and they were upset. Anyway, whatever.
What else have you heard? Like tennis smells like a can of tennis balls.
Oh yeah, can of tennis balls.
I feel like I prefer more of the more common descriptors.
My favorite one was on the Quartermaster Sommelier's website, or blogs or whatever. Right. That I learned was Viognier.
Okay.
Fruit Loops.
I love that. I love that characteristic. It's almost like when you were a kid.
I know, and it's there. It's there. It's really there.
It is.
Yeah, it's cool.
And automatically you start to think of all the times you had Fruit Loops. And those are just all good memories. So Viognier is tied to Fruit Loops. I love every part about it.
I can smell them. So tell us the story about how you got into studying for wine. Well, she started in the restaurant business. So why don't you go back to that? Like, how did you start in the food and wine industry in general?
Yeah, let's see. I was named after a winery. So there is a majestic chateau that's in Bordeaux, France, so southwest France. And my parents, they wanted a hobby, and they thought their hobby would be wine. And so
it's a good hobby to have.
A great hobby to have. And when they were thinking about girl names, they were debating what to select, and they said, oh, Margaux. There's a Chateau Margaux in Bordeaux, and this region is known for having very feminine, very elegant characteristics compared to the surrounding environs. And they said, all right, that's going to be our daughter's name.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so as I worked in the hospitality industry, mostly operations, I remember this, those like pivotal moments in your life where I was trying to help a guest, and they said, I need you to describe what's the difference between these 5 Chardonnays that are on our list. And I remember this sweat that just came over my body. Right? I mean, they could have asked me about how the mussels were, or how the shrimp was, or anything. And they asked me that, and I was
I would have freaked out.
I said, allow me to get more information. And it was funny because I'd been studying wine a little bit at this time, and I knew enough, but I felt like my answer that I gave them wasn't going to be good enough. So I hustled on back and found the sommelier, grabbed a pen and a piece of paper, and I said, I need to know which one is the oakiest, the butteriest. And he was studying for an exam, funnily enough, and he said, Margaux, this is the answer in 3 seconds. This is the oakiest. This is the butteriest. This is the one that will pair with this food. And I said, I gotta learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And
so really impressive.
It was, and it was effortless, and he enjoyed it. And I said, I want to be able to not have to ask someone else how to navigate a wine list better.
Yeah. And Chardonnays are a tough one, because I always talk about it when I do the staff trainings and stuff. I'm like, Chardonnay is a tough one because it's up to the winemaker to manipulate the grape. The grape itself doesn't have a whole lot of characteristics as a wine grape.
No, it's like chicken. It is, right?
The chicken of the wine world.
It is. It can be anything. I guess we can't really say vodka of the spirit world, but you're right.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, so they can either heavily oak them or they can stainless steel, so there's no oak influence.
Right.
I mean, they have to manipulate the grape, and it's kind of up to them. So that's what I always tell the staff when I'm talking to them. I'm like, look, white wine is easy. You know, they don't do anything to Riesling or Sauvignon Blanc or any of those other white grapes. They just literally crush them and put them in the bottle.
A winemaker's dream.
But Chardonnay is a whole different scenario, and that's the only one that they really need to take a sip at work, try it, take a bottle home, or whatever. They have to learn the Chardonnays. So yeah, I would have panicked for sure if that customer asked me that.
Right, and you just, I mean, you just don't want to be wrong, because I knew I would see that guest forever and ever and ever and ever. Chardonnays.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I remember being a server and just being put on the spot for all kinds of things, and just that whole sweating moment, or even like the first time you open a bottle of wine tableside.
And has it ever like flown over all the guests? Do you remember that? Ever like open a bottle of champagne and it's saturated the table?
Only when I was taking my certified sommelier exam.
What happened? I've never heard this story.
Oh, I popped the cork across the dining room. And Brian was in the room, and he leaned his chair back, and he's like, really? and they go instant fail on my paper. Wasn't very nice. But I went back, and I aced it. So, yeah, no, I don't know what happened. I swear for 2 weeks, I didn't sleep. I'm like, what? I've been opening champagne bottles for all my life.
Right.
Like, what happened? Like, what happened? I couldn't figure it out. You know, I don't know what happened. I just was nerves. I didn't know. I never told you that story.
No, I've never known that.
It's terrible. Jay and I went, and he passed, and I failed, and I literally cried all the way home.
But the great news is you took it again.
Yeah, took it again. Yeah, you can always take it again. Okay, so you're in the restaurant. You get pinned by this guest that wants to know the Chardonnay, and so you decide that night, knowing you.
Yes, it was. I didn't want it to happen again, and I just wanted to empower more people, because wine should be enjoyed, right?
But it's intimidating. It can be if you let it. You shouldn't, but it can be. It can.
And now you think if anyone asked you that question, now you could rattle off a few things, and you could navigate that conversation. You would do so, throw in a few jokes, but yeah, there's those pivotal moments which make you decide. This will happen.
Yeah.
How about you? What did you decide? When did you decide to kind of?
So I had taken the CSW. That's the Society of Wine Educators Level 1.
Okay.
And then I got an email from our wine educator.
Okay.
And he invited me to the study class for the CWE, Certified Wine Educator, which is the top level. And Jay Gilmore showed up. And he was kind of a friend in the building where I work. And so we sat next to each other. And I remember that I had no idea what they were talking about the whole time. I didn't know what one single wine they were talking about, and region they were I didn't know anything. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And I looked at Jay and I said, are we doing this? And he goes, yes, we're doing this.
Oh, the buddy system. The
buddy system, yeah. And I go, okay. So same thing, literally that night, started read, taste, driving around. I flew to Germany. Remember, I flew to Germany to learn about Germany.
Oh, such good experiences.
Yeah. That's the best part is traveling and learning about wine, or just even going. My favorite memory of all is going into Montalcino and having hand rolled spaghetti, and a glass of Brunello for $5.
Perfect.
Those are just, you appreciate it because you've studied it and you know what's going on.
So where's next on your travel bucket list?
Oh, well, I want to just literally fly to Switzerland, get there, go up into the mountains, have some hot chocolate, maybe a brandy or two, and then get back on the airplane and fly back home.
Sounds wonderful. That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Like no plans, no traveling, just literally fly over there and have like a hot chocolate.
Perfect.
Maybe a couple of glasses of wine. Let's talk about Switzerland wine. What are the grapes from Switzerland? I can't even remember.
Gosh, let's go through this. Because
Okay.
Switzerland has departments, right? And each department has a major language. So it's a lot of chasselas, which is this ubiquitous white grape. And then there's just a whole bunch of grapes that we don't see.
Yeah, we don't get them here in America.
Maybe, I guess there's Merlot over there, which we see a little bit of Merlot. But I guess like Swiss wine really isn't flooding our shelves.
No.
No.
But the whites are delicious.
Whites are delicious.
Yeah, whites
right?
are delicious. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's definitely something I could delve and enjoy more of.
Yeah, and I loved like when there's a little bug here, and I'm
trying to get after the wine. It's been a while since I've had Syrah.
And now I forgot what I was going to say, but like when I went over to Germany, I got to drink Dornfelder.
How was it? Do you feel like things taste different when you're in the region?
They do.
They taste better for some reason.
They do. Oh, 100%. Because I went and stayed at the Champagne houses in Champagne.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge Champagne fan, but that tasted like gold when I was over there.
You're the only person I've heard of that says they don't like Champagne. Oh,
I just don't.
That strikes me to the core. That strikes me to the core.
I just don't like the bubbles.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't. And I especially like it when the wine gets warm, because you got to drink it fast, and then I don't. So whatever. I don't mind Prosecco because it has a smaller bubble, and it's a whole different grape, right? I don't mind Prosecco. I'll drink it if I have to. I mean, I had a couple Aperol Spritz the other night with some Prosecco in it. But I'm not a huge Champagne fan. But while I was in Champagne, at the dinners where they were pairing the food with the Champagne, and I was drinking it there, it was something that I have never been able to experience since. It's just not the same.
No.
How about you? Where do you want to go next?
I want to go to Greece.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I've never been. I've heard magical stories about Greece.
Mavrodaphne?
Yeah, that's Zeno Mavro. All these wonderful things. But Assyrtiko, this high acid.
I love that grape.
Tastes like lemon juice.
Yes.
I would like just to have some different grapes, but more or less travel and see that. And then after Greece, I want to go to Portugal. So 2 places I've never been. But just that have so much history and uniqueness and site specificity.
Okay. Well, just on record, I'm available to travel.
Perfect.
Anytime.
There's a whole bunch of deals on flights right now, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your experience with the court of master sommeliers.
So I probably started taking exams in 2006, 2007, 2008. And that was definitely a different era. It was a little bit more underground, I would say.
Okay.
And it was something where what we had was the Sotheby's book. So if you wanted to start learning about wine, that was really the Bible. So you had Sotheby's, and you had it memorized, and that's what we went off on. And it wasn't...
Oh, really? So it wasn't the website?
No.
Oh, interesting.
So all of these things were really before, websites and all that stuff. And it was just wonderful because at some points you would actually have to wait for a question because things were changing or the laws were changing. So you could say, really, as of this date and quote your source, if you had Sotheby's or another source, and say, this is what's happening or what I believe to be happening now. And I think now it's so different because the answers are so readily accessible. There are, everything is a Google away.
Right.
And at that point, it was almost nice because you left and you had this book and you really knew that well. I think now the world of wine is always changing and evolving. There's new AVAs, there's new regions, there's new hybrids, there's new chemistry, and it's never really done.
Right.
And this way, you really could know your body of knowledge, and there could be a few things, but it wasn't like it was today.
Yeah. I have one of those big books, too.
I love that way to learn. I prefer books.
Yeah. And
what about you?
I do too. Well, I do too, but my point was that I was kind of, while I was studying, I was kind of flipping through one of these books, and they didn't even have Malbec in it. Like, that wasn't a
major grape.
It wasn't a major grape.
Right.
At all. Because you're right, things change. That's kind of what I tell the restaurant staffs when I talk to them too is, look, don't beat yourself up. Don't get uptight. You don't need to be an expert because everything changes anyway.
Everything changes. I mean, and we would always use flashcards.
Oh,
Not flashcard apps, but real flashcards.
No. I had this many.
Right. And then I think as things have progressed over the years, technology is intrinsic in exam settings. Now there's always, as I took other exams, there was always flashcard apps. It was websites. It was online modules. But for the court experience, when I started out, and obviously things changed over the 5 years where I took the various exams for the court specifically, it was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I transitioned into recording my voice.
I love that.
Yeah, no, and Jay and I did that together. And I always tell people when they come to me and say, hey, I want to pass this test. Will you help me pass this test? I say, I'll help you pass the test, but you have to do what I say. And will you do what I say? And they say, uh-huh. And then I go, okay, you have to record your voice. And they go, oh, I can't do that.
I've heard that if you record your voice, it goes into another layer of
Yes.
consciousness. Do you believe that?
Yes. If you want to memorize something, you have to hear it. Well, first off, if you're speaking out loud, you're learning it more than just reading it anyway. So even if you don't record your voice, if you read out loud, you learn more.
Right.
So what I did is because we drive a lot in our jobs, so I would just listen to it while I was driving. Even if I wasn't paying attention, but I knew something would sink in,
right?
One little tidbit or whatever.
And that's all that you needed because you would keep on recording it.
Yeah.
I remember doing house chores and hearing my voice recorded. I would even go to sleep with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do my nap, yeah.
To get any additional source of information, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny because you were talking about your routine, like
right.
You go to the gym and stuff. So my routine was I would come home from work, I would lay down, take a little, siesta, and then I would get up with my books and I would sit with my book, and then I had my maps because
right.
You have to study with your maps. And then I had my phone right here, so I would hit record and I would study and then I would draw on the map. And my dog and my cat, the closer it got to their dinner time, you could hear them in the background, like rustling boxes and furniture and stuff, like just trying to get my attention. And every time I listened to those tapes, I laughed so hard because it was so obvious they wanted my attention.
Food, energy, right. And then I remember, you would have those maps, and then you would start tracing maps on tracing paper.
Yes.
And then drawing maps from memory.
Yes.
And it was any possible, depending upon the type of learner you were, to try to garner more information, visual, audio. Great.
Yeah. So Margaux and I worked together at the same time when her friends, our coworkers, filmed the movie Song.
Right.
And what's the blonde guy's name again? I forget
Ian.
Ian. And remember in his room, he had all those trace.
It was like a beautiful mind. Right.
That was his thing. He traced all those maps onto that stuff.
And it worked.
Yeah.
You can like running on the treadmill and using flashcards, all these things.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I took the WSET 3, and it was like you turn the page and it's like this big circle and it goes, this is burgundy, fill it in, and I'm like, huh? I mean, what?
Right.
So, but that's what I tell people too, is I go, okay, if you take the map and you write on it, that's like a giant flashcard.
I agree.
And so when I was cramming for tests, I had my maps, not my flashcards.
And then you can recall them.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that film Song. How do you think it's affected our industry?
I think it made a lot of people want to get into the program for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I liked it because we put a lot of energy and effort into our wine study, and I liked that people would finally understand how hard it is. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate. In fact, I played it for my family because they had no idea what I was doing.
What was their opinion being outside of the wine and spirits industry? What was their thoughts on the film?
That they had no idea it was that hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So But yeah, you were really good friends with him. She's actually in the movie.
Maybe like 9 seconds. You're gonna have to look really, really fast. That 9 seconds. It is not enough to get a SAG card. It is by no means that.
I went to see it at the debut up in LA. I didn't know you were in it. I remember sitting there going, "Look, she's on the screen." Oh, so funny.
You have to look fast.
No, but I thought that was a really cool thing. And when I remember when they even rolled it out for us when we were on our trip.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
I think it was to be dedicated to wine was a nice film, and to go in depth on the arc of the exam and studying and the friendships. I enjoyed it.
The friendships, yeah, big huge part. But how much of your life you have to give up, I think, is what that movie did for people that I knew.
Right.
And some of my girlfriends have watched it and they're like, wow, I had no idea. You know, you talk about, if you're not in the industry, and even if you are in the industry, you say, I'm a CWE, they go, oh, okay. They don't even know what it means.
Right. But now I think, the term sommelier is a different cachet, or there's a better understanding through all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I loved the movie. I loved it. And I love those guys too. They're fun. So, okay. So you went home, you started reading the book, and you went through so did you study, did you take the court and then take WSET and then take CWE all, like, did you do them all at the same time? Because I found that to work really well.
Yeah, I think I definitely had a different route. I just studied through the court and completed that first. So it went pretty rapidly.
Oh, so you didn't take any other tests while you were doing it?
No, so it was the Court of Master Somms, introductory, certified, advanced, 1 year after another. And then the next year was my master, which took that a couple times. And then after that completed, then I think I went to Italian and French. And then to make a full circle, I went to the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. So definitely a different arc to my exam path, but I think one that served me well. Mm-hmm. But I think if anyone ever has the opportunity, you want to take as many exams.
As many as you can.
As you can.
As you can, because you're in it.
Yeah, you're studying.
Yeah.
And I think different exams have different methodologies and different question bases, or different question ideas, I would say, or different approach. But that's what I always encourage. If there's anyone out there that is looking to take wine exams or is in the hospitality industry that wants to know more, you want to just immerse yourself.
Yes.
Tell
your girlfriend or your wife that you're going to be busy for a while.
You will, yes.
Well, we did, because Jay was the one. We sat down. I think we were taking a test somewhere, and we sat down for lunch. He said, "Okay, you know what we're going to do next?" And I'm like, "What?" And we're going to do certified somm, and I was like, "We are." And we did them. I did them all at the same time. So I did all of them in a year and a half.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because you're already studying. Now, there's different information. So the Court of Master Sommeliers is service oriented. So it's about vintages and producers.
Yeah, how would you want the person that's taking care of you on the restaurant floor to help make your food and wine experience better? That's really what a sommelier should do.
Right.
And then a certified wine educator is completely
totally
different.
Opposite. It's how to teach a class, right? So so those are different, but you're studying the country,
you are,
the soil, the history,
regardless,
the varietals, the
benchmark wine regions and varietals across the world. So I think, pile on those exams.
Okay, what are you going to do next?
As far as life, exams?
We'll get into life in a minute. We're going to talk about your daughters in a minute. But talk about where you're taking your exams. You're doing the diploma.
Yeah, I think as far as exams, I'll complete the WSET diploma. And I think
which is a 3-year program, people.
It's a process.
At least.
It is.
It's hard.
And then,
don't you have to know every grape? Don't you have to write about every grape in the world?
I think at one point, probably.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people use this to launch into the Master of Wine program. I don't know if I'll do that. There's a Master Sommelier program, which we spoke about, which is service-based, and Master of Wine program. Probably after I finish my diploma, I'll probably just rest for a little bit.
Okay.
Not a bad thing. What about you? What's next?
Oh no, I'm done.
Done.
Yeah, I'm done.
That was a hard no.
Oh yeah, no, that's a hard no. No, I retired myself.
I didn't. Good for you.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
No, it's great. I mean, I still love wine. I still, I've forgotten more than I've learned, honestly.
Yeah.
But I just feel like in the career, it didn't fit into what I'm actually doing in my job.
Okay.
And I like sales. I like to make deals. I like that stuff. And I kind of got separated at some point, and I said, I'm just going to retire myself.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I'm no more.
But I feel like you went out on, swinging for the fences and doing great, right? You accomplished all those different exams, and I feel like you made people want to learn about wine, and I feel like that's all that any educator can ever do, is you get people excited about wine, you bring them into the fold, and you really empower them, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun to have fun with wine, but as far as me going out and teaching classes and doing it as a career, I don't think that I'm...
Not so much.
No. Now, Jay, my study buddy, he
Right.
continued on. And there were many times when I would be like sitting at home by myself thinking, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Am I going to join in? And, and he never ever gave me grief about it, but I did feel guilty because you were a unit. Partners. We were a unit. Yeah. So he continued to study, and he got a lot more certifications after. So.
A remarkable person.
Yeah, he was a great guy. So I was talking. Do you remember I was telling you about the trunk tastings?
Yes.
So this was the fun part. So I would drive around in my car with bottles of wine in the back. Just get whatever random weird stuff at the store.
Which is normal for us.
Yeah.
Which is normal. It sounds questionable.
Yeah.
But...
And so I would literally text him, "Where are you?" And he would tell me, and then I would drive over, and I would pull over. It could be a street, it could be a parking lot, it could be whatever. And I would jump out of the car, and he would jump out of his car, and we would run up, and we would taste. And because I had plastic cups in my trunk at all times as well, and so we would taste, we would spit on the street, taste, spit on the street, taste, spit on the street, and then we'd get back in our cars and go back to work.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But I feel like you kind of need a group around you as you
Yeah.
go through these crazy exams and scenarios. You need like a comrade in arms to
Yes.
achieve.
Did you have a study buddy?
Not initially, but
Okay.
I think because you see these people, I had one in the end.
Okay.
But I think for my intro and my certified, really solo.
Do I know that person?
No, I was solo.
No, but you're
like
study buddy.
eventually I studied with a couple of people that we worked with.
Oh, okay.
And then as the digital age and Skype and Zoom caught on, we would do those exams that way. And then for a while I hosted a tasting group at my apartment. So it really evolved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you find people that are on your same journey.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're going to take any kind of exam, that's a key takeaway. You need a study buddy or a support group or a tasting group or whatever to get you through. I know I couldn't have done it without Jay.
No. Remarkable. I think you always want people that are better than you if you can. I think initially you want to get as much knowledge as you can from people, and then once you're confident in your abilities and you can start forming your opinions, then I think at that point you can start taking people on under your wing and help mentor them.
Yeah.
But I think it's everyone wants to pay forward the correct knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Margaux, the mommy.
I do have two wonderful daughters. So I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and
So
it is
cute.
this wonderful, crazy life or time in life that I wouldn't change for the world.
Yeah. So tell the story about the
I love champagne, and it's a wonderful thing. So I remember I was picking up my younger daughter from school, and like most schools, they have a little kitchen so kids can play. And I remember picking up my daughter, and she said, Mom, wait, I need to go put away my champagne glass before I leave. And the teacher asked, she said, what did she say? And I said, oh, no. And my daughter piped up, Mom, I said champagne glass. It's not Cabernet. So luckily she was correct. The glass where she had selected would be more appropriate for champagne, but yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh. So, okay, well, I think we should probably wrap it up, but I want you to share a little tidbit knowledge, advice to someone that is just like yourself in a place where they're like, oh, I think I want to learn a little bit more about this. What steps would you recommend?
I think it's a wonderful thing to get excited about wine and want to learn more. I felt that when I wanted a story or something fun, I would always reach for the wine Bible. So I would always encourage anyone, if they want to learn about something and they're just getting their feet wet, is to go get Karen McNeil's Wine Bible.
Oh, I don't even have that book.
It's like this beautiful story, and it's just very broad strokes. But she has such a wonderful way to write about things, and anyone can read it. And then the second piece of advice would be, really, when you are ordering something, never order the same thing twice initially.
Right.
Always search for something else. Always look for things that you don't know. And that way you're just really building your repertoire. And I think that's really important. There's so much out there. Although I would love to have champagne every night, I think that if you want to learn more, you have to try for different regions and different grapes, different vintages. It's a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your piece?
Well, this is not my tip for studying. This is my tip for drinking. When you go into a restaurant, because I always go, okay, I'm not going to have Chard Cab Merlot, right? I want to look and see what else is by the glass that's going to be different, right? But you have to know that not everybody in the world is doing the same thing. So sometimes those bottles have been open for a while. So I always tell them straight up. I'm like, look, I know wine. Please bring me a fresh bottle.
That's a great piece of advice.
Yeah, because otherwise you just don't know how long, it's a GSM and people don't know what a GSM is, so they may not order it. It might be a great price. They have it by the glass for whatever reason, but it may have been open for a while. So that's just a drinking tip. Well, that's not a wine tip.
It's just a drinking tip. Well, cheers. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Welcome.
It's always good to catch up.
Yeah, it's so great to catch up with you too. So thank you everybody for joining us. I don't have all the subscribe button and the like me here and all that stuff. I don't do that. This is just for fun and for us to share a little bit of time with you. So cheers.